I check it too. Say we live though. Come on, we good. Come on, we good. Yep. All right. Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Wakim out there who pushing this word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And there's a couple of brothers, we got the Elder Taza Pa from the Great Millstone Houston camp. Myself, the brother Korah Abad, and again, the Lord put on our spirit to come back another Thursday to do this Thursday live, man. In which I know we mentioned before how the way this news about to start going, we might not be able to wait till Thursday, man. It's some stuff me and the elder might talk about, or brothers might bring up in the chat. You might want to do a lesson on it right then and there, but you have things set for the Thursday, then some new things happen. So we're in a time where things about to start speeding up, but as the Lord will have it now, we hear another Thursday, the Wadi Bashim Awashah Ford to speak about the news, and that's what we talk about on here is some of the same things brothers talk about, even throughout the week daily. The apostles, the elders, the bishops, they bring other topics and information on news, man. So today, on this lesson, we got two segments, and the first one we're gonna touch on disease X. It's been a new disease that they've been saying that's supposed to hit. The World Economic Forum, headed by Klaus Schwab, they just had their yearly meeting at the beginning of the year. I think yesterday, the 17th. And one of the topics they spoke on to worry about in the upcoming year is disease X. And the second segment of this will be the pre-war era has begun, because World War III, I know we used to say we close, but it's pretty much started already, man. It started already. These nations look picking their side, letting it be known who they with and who they not with. So we definitely in that time. So we'll touch on, and have whatever the Lord, whatever else the Lord may have us touch on, maybe of various topics here and now. But so we'll kind of speak on a few things. But Azaquan, whatever you got, the floor is yours.
Nah, you good,
Okay, Con. So matter of fact, I'll start with a precept. Real quick. And Shalom to all the Akim, Aquath, coming, boy, how about Shimao Shabrak Thumb. But I start with a quick precept because we definitely in those times, man. And as brothers been saying, shit, I would say weekly, but daily, all we need is that one event to take place, and that's gonna kickstart everything else. But let me snag this real quick. This is what Yahweh Shai said. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 32. It says, "Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh," right? A man know when the seasons are nigh, or what's the weather gonna be like in a day, because you see it, man. It's right there in your face. You see the flowers and the plants growing. You see the vegetation growing. When the weather about to get cold, you see things starting to die. So Yahweh Shai, he brought up this for a reason. It says, "Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh." And it's the point. "So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors," man. So just like Yahweh Shai said, people know the seasons and the times because they see them. They know it's near. Well, the same way he said, once we start seeing these plagues, the things that was prescribed in the Bible, that was going to take place here in the last days, we are seeing them, man. That's how we know we're in that time, But I hop into it, quantum. You ain't got none of precept or so.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Con. So we'll hop into it first. Now we'll start it off with this video, and again, this is going into disease X. Now this from Kim Iverson. Hey, you kind of this for you, if you may be watching this for you, But this Kim Iverson right here, now she gonna speak on this disease X, because as we spoke about, this was put out 2 days ago. Now, as we spoke about, the World Economic Forum, or the WEF, I'm sure brothers and sisters seen that before, heard about it, but with Klaus Schwab, so on and so forth. Well, again, they just had their yearly meeting, and there's many topics they talk about here and now, but one topic they broke up this out of everything was this certain disease X. So see right here, it was a World Economic Forum annual event, and it's good to listen to these things. Now, it might seem boring to the average person, but we know what we're looking for, and we trying to see what they gonna say or what secrets they gonna give out on what events that's gonna come, man. So it's good to watch these clippings here and now. But this was they started on the 15th, and the last day is tomorrow, right? So let's go ahead and play Kim Iverson video. Now, it's not too much information on what it is. What's the sickness like? The last one they'll say pneumonia type symptoms. Well, they ain't giving those symptoms. They just saying something bad gonna happen and it's worse. But Esau, he always got things already planned, so he could be justified in coming through with the solution when we show the world or bring it out or usher it out to the world, man. But let's go ahead and play this video of Kim Iverson. Her page is Kim Iverson, World Economic Forum warns of disease X. And just to highlight two things she go mention on here, just to show they've been planning it, is how I think in the UK they already been building a facility to combat this disease X. So telling you they know ahead of time. And America passed a bill last year for disease X. So they telling you something on the way. So I'll go ahead and play it. Here we go.
The real scary thing about this current WEF summit in Davos is they're going to be discussing disease X. This is on their website.
I can't hear it, Doc.
Preparing for disease X. This is going to be.
Okay.
You can hear now?
Yeah, I could a while ago.
Okay, kind of cool. I'll play it back.
The real scary thing about this current WEF summit in Davos is they're going to be discussing disease X. This is on their website. They're going to be preparing for disease X. This is going to be happening January 17th. They put this on here at 11:30 their time. They're going to be discussing the fresh warnings from the WHO organization, from the World Health Organization, that an unknown disease X could result in 20 times more fatalities than the coronavirus pandemic. What novel efforts are needed to prepare healthcare systems for the multiple challenges ahead? This session is linked to the Partnership for Health System Sustainability and Resilience and the Collaborative Surveillance Initiative of the World Economic Forum. Simultaneous interpretation in English and Portuguese. It's going to be making sure that you can understand that in these two languages. So they're going to be talking about disease X, and they're saying that disease X could result in 20 times more fatalities than the coronavirus pandemic. This is one of the topics for discussion at the World Economic Forum, and that should be alarming to everybody after what happened during the coronavirus pandemic. The pandemic was probably the single event that was able to consolidate government power better than any other event in our life, if not history, in human history, perhaps. Certainly after 9/11, we certainly saw a big crackdown, and the government gained a lot more control, and we lost a lot of our own. We lost some privacy. We lost some things after 9/11, but I don't.
Right, and what she said is that every time they be these, as we say, events, these events happen to the population, but it also gives a green light for the government to pass certain laws using that event as a smokescreen, man. And so what we coming into this disease X or the blackouts, these events will be used to give the government green light to pass certain laws that the citizens wouldn't have in a way allowed if this crisis wouldn't have happened. That's why they need fear and death to be pushed out so that people could ask for the solution, man, which will lead to an MOTB, more juice being pumped into a person, digital IDs, so on and so forth. You see?
I don't think we saw anything close to what happened during the COVID pandemic. So now they're saying there's going to be this disease X. They want to prepare for this disease X, which could be 20 times more lethal than COVID. Now, nothing in nature has ever been 20 times more lethal than COVID. Nothing in nature ever. You can look at even the worst plagues of plagues, and it wasn't ever 20 times worse than the pandemic. Nothing natural anyway. I'll just leave it at that. But what's really interesting about this is that this has been in discussion, and
Now check this out.
there's even
Keyword has been in discussion.
a bill that's proposed in the U.S. legislature. There's discussions about preparing for disease X. This is the new thing we should all be alarmed by. Watch this. This is the BBC talking about a lab that is actually preparing for disease X. Watch this.
The British government has unveiled a new vaccine research facility where scientists are working to prevent future pandemics. It's located at Porton Down, a high-security research facility best known for its work on chemical warfare. Experts are preparing for what is known as Disease X, or the next pandemic virus. Our health correspondent Dominic Hughes was given rare access to the facility.
The delicate task of protecting the nation's health. This is one of the laboratories at Porton Down where scientists are analysing current threats, new variants of COVID, for example, and trying to identify new ones.
Okay, so disease X is something kind of serious. Here's a report that was put out
So they already have a whole lab set up for it.
in 2021, disease X, a hidden but inevitable creeping danger. Saying that to the editor, an old adage says prevention is better than cure. Nothing exemplifies this idea better than disease X. According to the World Health Organization, disease X represents the knowledge that a serious international epidemic could be caused by a pathogen currently unknown to cause human disease. So they're saying we've got to prepare for this, that it might sound like science fiction, but disease X is something we must prepare for. In a list of diseases that the WHO considers high priority in terms of research and development, disease X occupies a spot among diseases such as Ebola, Zika, and coronavirus 2019, COVID-19. Unexpected outbreaks of infectious disease have repeatedly rocked the medical confidence and have taken the medical world by surprise. So they're wanting to prepare for the next pandemic, disease X. It gets worse or more interesting, however you want to look at it. But last year, the 118th Congress of 2023-2024 introduced.
Now check this out. So it wasn't just that that facility that was built before the disease come, but also a bill was already passed in advance.
HR 3830. More interesting, however you want to look at it. But last year, the 118th Congress of 2023-2024 introduced HR 3832, also known as the Disease X Act of 2023. Disease X Act of 2023, if you could believe it or not. So what they want to do is establish a program at BARDA for developing medical countermeasures for viral threats with pandemic potential. Here's actually the press release by the senator that put this out. Senators Baldwin and Tillis lead the legislation to respond to future pandemics. U.S. Senators Tammy Baldwin, Democrat, and Tom Tillis, Republican, introduced the Disease X Act of 2023 to develop the necessary medical countermeasures to combat future pandemics. The COVID-19 pandemic showed the devastating consequences that deadly infectious disease epidemics can cause and the repercussions of not having the proper countermeasures in place to combat it. It's not a matter of if, but rather when our country will be grappling with another infectious disease outbreak, and we need to be as best prepared as possible to save lives, our economy, and our way of life, said Senator Baldwin. Regardless of whether the next pandemic is naturally occurring, accidentally released, or deliberately caused, we cannot afford to wait for the next viral threat to arise. That's why I'm joining my Republican and Democratic colleagues to take action to develop new antivirals, vaccines, and diagnostics for unknown threats so we are ready to respond to disease X. And now it's being discussed at Davos. So quite scary. They talked about, there's like the event 201. There was, which is like a test run of what would happen if a pandemic broke out. And then sure enough, a few months later, there was a pandemic that broke out, and they literally went through the exact same steps that they had at event 201. And so a lot of people are raising their eyebrows wondering, what the heck is this going to be about?
Right. I don't know, brothers probably remember about 2 weeks ago, we had spoke about how always before they do these exercises or when they have these, or should I say they'll do simulations, different exercises and have meetings and mention what could come. And months later, that exact thing play out. So we kind of just seeing it. Their own tongues falling upon themselves, as the scriptures say. But I'm gonna snag a precept real quick in Isaiah 10, because what they doing is already pre-planned in advance, man. And Esau know what he doing. These nations know what they're doing. This Isaiah 10:1 real quick. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." So all these things was already written into law. A disease X coming is already set to kill people 20 times more, or it's more deadly, 20 times more deadly than the CV. You see, in advance, you're already planning. You got the facility set up to combat it, or just something that's coming. But again, as we know it, everything is rolling right into the Lord's plan. Esau think he doing something, but really it's going right along according to the Lord's story. But hey, you got some Zaquan before I play this next vid?
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to go here real quick and kind of get your perspective on that. But I want to bring out Malachi chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 1. And it says, "The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, said the Lord. Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever." All right, so just real quick on the border of wickedness, that means that everywhere this man goes and sets up shop, everywhere he goes to colonize, because he's the great colonizer, all right? Wherever he goes to colonize these different lands and peoples, that's where you can find wickedness at, because he is the very border of wickedness. And so we know from Job 9:24 that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So that explains why the whole earth right now is engulfed in chaos and wickedness, because Esau, being the border of wickedness, is in rulership, and he has to bring about this third woe, all right? But he can't just have it to where, because his plans really is to cull the population.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he's gonna hit on all angles. All right, we got the angle of conflict, which is brewing, the third woe. Then you got these various, which was all prophesied, as the brother mentioned. You had these various diseases, as the scripture calls them, how they worded, it skips my mind at the moment, but these various diseases and sicknesses, the pestilence, the water. Yeah, you got these various pestilence out here to knock out more of the population. Then you're gonna have crime, you're gonna have famine, you're gonna have a number of things that's, this is why this called in the scriptures, Jeremiah 30 verse 7, all right, Jacob's trouble. All right, but just real quick on that, right, disease X, and I just wanted to get your take. What do you know about it? What do you know about this disease?
Yeah, they ain't saying too much on it. They're just saying that what if, or they expecting something big to happen. They ain't giving too much. They ain't giving like the symptoms on what it caused, how it begun, where it started at. They're just planning and saying something big is coming,
So this is my second question. How can you set up a lab? I ain't heard nothing. I don't hear everything. Maybe I missed something. So, well, I'm asking you. I ain't trying to, put you on the spot or nothing like that. I'm really asking what is it? And that's the whole purpose of the X. All right, it's the unknown disease. And my real question is how you can set up a lab for something that you don't know what the fuck it is. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But it makes sense as to what you said, that, this is Hegelian classic, Hegelian dialectic, which is problem, reaction, solution. All right. They created the problem back in 2021. All right. With their solution, their answer to a pandemic that nobody asked for, a pandemic that they put out there. So they gave their solution, everybody ran to go get it. So now you have this thing sitting dormant, lying dormant in you, this payload of V's, all right? These V's that's in there. And I wish I could have sent you the video, and I still can send it to you, but Esau was breaking it down how that hydrogel, it encapsulate these payloads of V's, all right, that's VIRUS's, and with certain frequencies, they can pretty much cause that hydrogel to swell until it bursts and release that payload. And they don't know how it's going to react or how people are going to respond. So there's your disease X. The majority of people already have it lying dormant in them. So with the right frequencies, and I'm glad Apostle Tahar came out and said this, because I seen the video, but in that movie, all right, Leave the World Behind, they got a hidden track, and it's just pulses of signals that you can't hear with your ear. But it's because normally, and the guy that did the video, he said he's been editing, movies, Hollywood movies, for the past 10 or 15 years. And he said, I've always been two. When you edit videos, you got your video track, and then you got one audio track beneath it. And he said this one had 3 extra tracks underneath the original soundtrack and audio for the movie. It had 3 extra tracks, so it had 4 audio tracks total, and one of them, which matched that ugly looking picture that was on the wall, that big ass picture. It was a wave. It was a sound wave. That's what that picture was, a sound wave, and it matched the frequency of that, that tone. So, everything is primed and ready to go. All right, and you mentioned Isaiah 10, and then that's how they do it. All right, this is how their magic works, for those of you who may not know. He puts stuff out there just like, oh, it's a disease X. Yeah, be careful, this disease X. They already know. They can't come out and tell you exactly what it is, because then that would implement them in the crime of the goddamn century. So they got to play it off with, and when it happened, I don't know where this come from. And they're going to have y'all looking at all these boogeymans. Y'all going to be looking at China. But I guarantee you the culprit will be that what they gave y'all back in 2021. So this man is the straight border of wickedness. Now, I'm going to bring this out, all right, for the brothers and the sisters that are in the faith, and it's Psalm 23, all right? It said, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, all right? I shall not want a vaccine. I shall not want a mark. I shall not want a digital currency. I shall not want ESG. I shall not want anything that this goddamn devil is putting out here. Just give me Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and I'm gonna keep it moving. All right, I'm gonna keep it pushing. He can keep all this shit because everything that he offers and promotes is to destroy the little sovereignty that you have, the little freedoms that you once enjoyed, to take away, strip you of your dignity. But go ahead,
Con. So as you see, so what they've been talking about at this World Economic Forum is something, and I'm putting something in quotations, is something they said coming that's far worse than what we've seen and experienced with CV. Now again, it's not the first time we heard that from one of the higher ups' mouth. Now we played this video before. We played just a little clip of it of Bill Gates and Melinda. And they was given a interview. I read it, says Bill and Melinda Gates spoke about the impact of the CV demic during a virtual conversation with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So they was being asked, how did the government fare after CV? And he was happy, saying, things slowed down, things got worse, and that was his response. But what he gonna say lines right up with what we've been hearing about this new disease that's going to be far worse, because he said what we seen with the CV, it ain't gonna have nothing to it ain't, let's just play it. Let's go ahead and play it. But anyway, what's about to happen, CV ain't got nothing on that, man. So let's hear from his mouth. Now he make the point at 7:07 around that, but I played it a little earlier.
These eventual bad things, this was a failure to get ready, and the cost would have been tiny compared to, say, what we spend on being ready for war. We didn't actually do the simulation to think about, okay, what about nursing homes? What about getting factories ready? What about?
You see, them simulations, they be doing them simulations. That's just a test run of the real thing, man. That's what they do. So when they have these meetings, that's they telling you this is what they doing next.
To get ready, and the cost would have been tiny compared to, say, what we spend on being ready for war. We didn't actually do the simulation to think about, okay, what about nursing homes? What about getting factories ready? What about the testing regime? In fact, the testing could have been ramped up very quickly in a few countries that have almost avoided the epidemic entirely, like Taiwan, New Zealand, Australia.
Remember that word, epidemic.
They took their experience and actually prepared, and so they moved a lot faster. So we, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time.
So, that reminds me of going back to the
one that.
You heard him? Listen again. He talking about the CV, but he said the next one, and look how he got all happy. Him and Melinda, arms folded. So they excited about this one because they ready to, or they expect a lot of death with this one, man. This one gonna shock a lot of people. If CV got you, imagine what this one gonna do. That's their mindset. But just listen to them.
Countries that have almost avoided the epidemic entirely, like Taiwan, New Zealand, Australia. They took their experience and actually prepared, and so they moved a lot faster. So we, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time.
So, that reminds me of going.
And I ain't catch it the first time, but he said how you had other people like Taiwan and somebody else that was able to get by, certain laws with the demic. But his point was, but this time ain't nobody getting by. One more time.
Actually prepared, and so they moved demic entirely. Like, in fact, the testing could have been ramped up very quickly in a few countries that have almost avoided the epidemic entirely, like Taiwan, New Zealand, Australia. They took their experience and actually prepared, and so they moved a lot faster. So we, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time.
Look at him. Come on, man. But again, remember he said epidemics. Well, again, that's all part of prophecy. I get this real quick in 2nd Ezra 16, and we can move on. If you ain't got none, Zaquan. But this 2nd Ezra 16, and I'm gonna start at 16. It's the GNT, and I'm gonna read down. It says the disasters are on their way toward the earth, and like an arrow shot by a strong archer, they cannot be turned back. Right? Nobody can stop what's about to happen in the world, man. Nobody can stop what's coming to America, World War III, the MOTB, so on and so forth. We're in that time. Verse 17, it says, I'm doomed. Who will rescue me in those days? Now, this is some of the things that was going to be set to take place in the latter days. And like the Elder Taza Pa said earlier, it ain't just famines that the Most High sent as plagues, fire, so on and so forth. Well, these diseases are, as Bill Gates said, Kim Iverson, epidemics. These things are as well sent by the Heavenly Father, man. Although Esau, these other nations could make them in a lab, and then they put them out on the earth, and that's how they may start. Well, who put in a spirit to make that? That's the Most High. So these are the things that Ezra seen in the latter times that was going to be taking place. 2nd Ezra 16 and 18 in the GNT. It says, troubles will come, and many people will groan. Famine will come, and many will die. Wars will come, and the world powers will tremble. Hey, on the Taza Pa, that's Klaus Schwab last week or 2 weeks ago when he was complaining that the citizens don't trust the elites no more. Right, they trembling. It says disasters will come, and everyone will be terrified. What will people do when these disasters come? It says famine. And what's the next one? And epidemics. Let's go and look into it. Epidemic. It says, quick Google, it says a widespread occurrence of an infectious disease in a community at a particular time. It says a sudden widespread occurrence of a particular undesirable phenomenon. And it's Amandra says suddenly. Well, that's in the scriptures, man. These things are coming. Yes, famine coming, wars coming, so on and so forth. But epidemics, a lot of people going to die from sicknesses, man. So it says famine, epidemics, troubles, and suffering are sent to punish and correct people, man. So that's why these diseases are being sent. Yeah, we know Esau is the mad scientist in a lab, but who man's goings are the Lord, man. All this is according to prophecy. Disease X is according to prophecy, whatever it may be, But you got us, Zaquan. Oh shit, I didn't even know he hopped out. But well, we'll move on. Lord willing, he come back. But let me throw this in the chat real quick on what we just watched. Now this with Kim Iverson. We watched that just so y'all can have it. And it's that video with Bill Gates. And it's around when he said it's around a 7-minute mark about how this next event will be far worse than CV. Man, I ain't know the. Hold on, let me text the other Taza Pa real quick. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
okay.
So, brother.
Yeah, I had just text to save you straight.
No, I was looking for that video, man. I did have it downloaded, but I must have already put it on my hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find it.
But
yeah, Steve, what you got?
Then I had just finished playing that video of Bill Gates, and I just got that precept about the epidemics in 2nd Ezra. Now I was about to go to the next segment of World War III. Unless you had something.
Yep. No, Con.
Okay, Con. So we'll go ahead and hop into the next segment, and we'll end it off with this topic. But as you see, man, what's been in the news lately? War. And the main two things that we've been hearing about, hey, just like Apostle Paul said in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, he said that the day of Yahushua couldn't come except two things happen: that the man of sin be revealed and it be a falling away. He named two things that mainly had to happen. Well, in our time, those two things happened. We fell away. Now we coming back to who we are. Take that one off the list. And the man of sin have been revealed, and he's being revealed at a high level. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. So scratch that off the list. So now in our times, what's the main things that gotta happen before that day can come? The MOTB gotta be mandated, and those missiles gotta be shot off, man. Because look, Jacob's trouble will happen in the midst of both of those things taking place. These are the main two events that we need to happen before we can see Yahushua with our own eyes. The MOTB gotta be mandated, which is that C-Hub, and World War III gotta begin. So that's why we've been seeing a lot of talks, and even on the Thursday Live. What's the main topics here now? The digital system coming and World War III, man. We're gonna have little things in between, but these are the main two things. And this is what's being talked about right now: that digital system and World War III. Now, this first article is from Fox News. Now, this was put out January 17th, 2024, which was yesterday. It says British defense chief warns pre-war era has begun. So they said, in other words, it ain't that World War III is coming. No, it's starting, really. It's starting. Let me get a quick precept. 11, 14. Real quick, this Revelation 11 and 14, it says the second war is past, right? Because you have World War I, that passed, right? It says the second war is past, World War II, that passed. It says, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, man. That's World War III. And like I said in the book of Isaiah 9, every war before this was fought with in battles with noise and blood. It says, but this one, World War III, gonna be shot with fire, missiles, man. So going back to it again, we ain't waiting to come into those times. According to the leaders of the world, we in World War III. Now, just because we in World War III don't mean the missiles gonna be shot off tomorrow. You go add little proxy wars in the midst, fusses and fighting and skirmishes, but we in that time though. So I hop into it. It says the defense minister of one of the United States' closest allies painted a bleak picture of an increasingly unstable world presenting challenges unlike those seen in past generations. In a speech Monday, British Secretary of State for Defense Grant Shapps argued the world has entered a pre-war period in which adversaries like Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran pose an unprecedented threat. Now, just look at the people he named. This is somebody from the UK, which is a part of the beast. You know, you got America, NATO, and the EU. That's the beast. But look at the people they named as adversaries: Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. These are countries who play a big role in the scriptures on being there with Russia, man, to come against Babylon. So it says he pointed to North Korea's goal of expanding its nuclear capabilities, Iran inching closer to attaining a level of enriched uranium that could turn it into a nuclear power, Russia's continued invasion of Ukraine, and China's assessment of how much longer the West will support the Ukrainian cause as it moves an invasion in Taiwan. Let's see, I jumped down. I didn't want to read the whole thing, you know. And if you got something, Quan, let me know. It says, and making matters worse, right? So to make everything worse, and as we've been hearing lately, this was taking place now. It says, Shapps said, is the deepening connection between these adversaries, China and Russia, have declared an unlimited friendship. And also you got this, and we'll move on after this. And in the recent weeks, much of the attention in the United States has been on the confrontation between U.S. forces and Iran-backed Houthi rebels in the Red Sea. And that's another thing, as the Elder Taza Pa spoke on last week, that Red Sea, that area The reason we're seeing it heat up is because that's going to be the regional area where World War III is going to begin to take place. Where Joel, the 3rd chapter, the Lord going to begin to gather these nations, man. You see? Yeah, Joel 2 and 20. Right? The American army will go over there, what it said, the face towards the East Sea and his hinder part towards the utmost sea, over there in the Arabian desert, man. That's where it's going down at. But we see little small skirmishes, you know, ships being hit with missiles or stolen between the Houthis and US and the UK and Israel, man. So who you think will come to the aid of these Houthis? Iran, Russia, China, so on and so forth. So it says on Wednesday, the Biden administration announced it redesignated Houthis as a specially designated global terrorist group following their attack on commercial ships, which its fighters said were in response to Israel's offensive in Gaza that has claimed the lives of more than 24,000 people. You see, so I move on from that one. I do want to play these 2 videos right here, and kind of let them speak on, you know, what we've been saying in World War III or concerning these nations dealing with World War III. But I'll hop into this one. You got something?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Con. So just keeping on that's in that same spirit of and you know what? I'm gonna get a quick precept, because looking at this title, the Lord put it in these leaders' mind ready to go to war. But this from End Time Headlines. It says leaders all over the world are warning that World War III is very close. And what we read earlier, the second war is past and the third war cometh quickly. Let me see. What it is? Proverbs.
You read 2nd Ezra 16 and let's see, 18.
Con, I did. You can bring it out again if you want.
No, that's good.
I had read it in the GNT though.
Yeah, Con. No, because it just speak about the beginning of wars. You know, so this is where we at in the beginning. Back in 2nd Ezra 16 and 18, it says the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So, like you're reading about, all right, we're in the beginning of war. All right, war don't always start out hot. It can, but it usually has a build to it, all right? It has a crescendo and all, you know, a build up, then a climax, you know, so we're in the beginning stages of this third war. But yeah, you got it, brother.
Con, I was gonna get this real quick, just hitting on that title. Hold on real quick. Okay, Con. Now hit on that title. It says leaders all over the world are warning that World War III is very close. I want to get this real quick. Proverbs 21 and 1. It says the king's heart, which is the leaders, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So that's what the Lord doing right now, man. And it says every way of man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pond up the hearts. You see? So what we seeing right now, the Lord putting in these leaders' mind to go to war. He put it in these generals' mind, right, to bring their troops over there to the Red Sea or to the Middle East, man. But let's hop into it. I jump around. I ain't gonna read the whole thing. So it says prominent leaders all over the globe are starting to publicly acknowledge that World War III is coming. In many cases, they are expressing hope that it can still be avoided, which it ain't gonna be avoided. It says, but that becomes less likely with each passing day. Right. It says multiple parties are escalating the conflict in the Middle East. The war in Ukraine has entered a dangerous new phase. And the election that just happened in Taiwan has made a Chinese invasion much more probable. So it says, so what is going to happen if major powers start tangling with one another all over the planet? We really are on the brink of the unthinkable. Man, I got another precept, Salak. It says, but most people in the general population have no idea how dire things have become. Now check that out. It says, so what's going to happen if major powers start tangling with one another all over the planet? Well, I'll read it real quick out the scriptures. This 2 Ezra 15 in the GNT. Because they go what they fighting for? Who gonna have power in this next world to come? And the question was, what will it lead to? The 2 Ezra 15 and 14 in the GNT. It says the world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Nations will, that's World War III, nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. There will be great political turmoil. You see? With one group trying to overpower another and gain control. So this is going to lead to World War III. Them trying to overpower another, gain control, get an advantage over another nation. It's going to lead to World War III. It says, while ignoring the legitimate government, man. You see? So going back to this, I hear flipping on pages. You got something?
No, I'm good right now.
Okay, kind. So it says, back to the article, on Monday, British Defense Minister Grant Shapps warned that we are now in a pre-war world and that Western powers could soon find themselves fighting Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. And that's prophecy, man. It says U.S. officials are issuing similar warnings. A source inside the Pentagon has warned Daily Express U.S. that we are on the brink of World War III amid surging conflict in the Middle East, sparked largely by Iran. Defense experts Nicholas Drummond echoed concerns that the conflict in the Middle East could potentially escalate, but warned that if Tehran directly attacked Israel, the ensuing war would be the end of Iran. It says not too long ago, Trump publicly warned a crowd in Iowa that we're very close to World War III. I jumped down. It's a long article. We ain't gonna read all of it. I'll skim through this last part and we can get to those videos. So it says war is here. In fact, 2024 is going to be a year of war. And wherever conflict happens, the U.S. is almost certainly going to be involved. Tazapah, that's Malachi 1 and 4. You just read it. Wherever some BS going on, that some wickedness, guess who's going to be there? Esau, Edom.
God.
It says, in fact, 2024 is going to be a year of war, and wherever conflict happens, the U.S. is almost certainly going to be involved. So how will the American people respond as the world erupts in flames, man? You see, so again, that's the spirit that's going out into the world right now. Everybody's preparing for war. Everybody preparing for war. And just to add, what's going over the, now I ain't gonna read these articles right here. I just want to kind of highlight, I'm gonna throw it in the chat so brothers out there, sisters out there, read them, at your leisure. But just want to highlight because we see things like this. Oh, okay, well, the Houthis shot down a ship. And the UK and America shot down Houthi drones. Well, those skirmishes that's going on in the Red Sea are causing a lot of hiccups to a lot of other things as far as these shipments that got to be sent through the Red Sea. And a lot of people, countries, whether you in the Middle East or not, depend on these shipments that's coming from this region, man. And now, since you got all these missiles flying, drones being shot down, ships being stolen or hit with missiles, you got different companies that don't want to send their goods through that way no more. So either now they got to reroute or they just cancel it in a hole for the time being. So think about what that's going to do to certain societies, man. That's goods on ships. You ain't gonna get certain food. Prices may go up because there's a halt on shipments, right? Certain goods that may be needed in hospitals, so on and so forth. So this could be another thing that can kick off other prophecies like famine, so on and so forth. Price, and not just as far as goods, But oil, gas going up too. Gas about to go up because a lot of these exporters who send natural gas and oil to and fro, they use the route of the Red Sea and other, waterways close to it, but they use those routes. So now certain people can't get even natural gas. And we in a time where it's cold, so even gas prices about to go back up again. So all that in these articles, but I'm gonna just highlight them. So it says, this was put out January 17th from RT News. It says Shell suspends Red Sea shipments. That's gonna have an effect, man. One way or another. You got it.
Certain economic so-called experts, they're forecasting a complete and total breakdown of the supply chain come 2025. And a lot of it is around what you're reading with that chaos in the Red Sea. Now that's a strategic, see, that's a war tactic right there of Iran, because Houthis are under the control of Iran. All right. So that's what I mean by, well, when the brother read it, he read it. It's war already. So what you do, like I said, you don't just go into war half-cocked. You position yourself. You gather resources. All right, as pursuant to Luke 14 and verse 30, it says, what 31? It says, Luke 14 and 31, or what king going to make war against another king, sitteth not down first and consulted whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000. So, this is basically laying down the blueprint of how kings go to war, right? It said, what king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first and counted whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000. Or else while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassage and desireth conditions of peace. All right. So in other words, these things have been in the making for, the past, at least going back 2015, 2014. You've been seeing China acquire gold by the masses. You've been seeing, Russia building or, just upgrading their missile arsenal. See, this is what you do. That's a part of counting the cost. They say, well, look, if we have a full-fledged war with the U.S., which means NATO will get involved, do we have sufficient to go the distance with these, adversaries? And so they take inventory. And say, well, we got this much Putin, and we got this much of that. And then he might say, well, we need to triple that. All right. How much gold do we have in reserve? We have such and so and so. We need to quadruple that. So this is what you're seeing. Iran, they got the Houthis. Why you think America is handling them with kid gloves? Because they know that's Iran. And to mess with Iran, the U.S. already know you got to mess with Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things have been in the making. These alliances that were formed, all right, resources that are being gathered, have been gathered, that's all in preparation for war, because a wise king counted the cost. And they've been years in preparation. And the only people who haven't been in preparation is right here in Babylon. They got the weakest military, understaffed and under-resourced military on the face of the earth. People still walking around here talking about we the mightiest military on the face of the earth. I don't think you looked at the military lately. All right, we've blown hundreds of billions in Ukraine. Now they're sending resources and money into Israel to fight some Palestinians. Israel should be able to handle the Palestinians on their own. But now the Babylonian military then got drawn into that the debacle, quagmire, and then this place is bankrupt. This place is bankrupt. Everybody else has been preparing. America has completely unprepared itself.
Mhm.
So what you're gonna see is hell on steroids here in America. All the stuff you're reading about, you know, the farmers protesting, France, Germany, and Holland and all that, you know, uproars and chaos and riots in the streets. Yeah, America's not immune. It's just the Most High has been saving the best, or in this case, the worst, for last. All right. So, yeah, as a wise king should, they've been getting prepared. China has been preparing. Russia has been preparing. And Iran has been preparing. And that's why they strategically they can't just send the Iranian military up in the Red Sea. They learned, they took a page out of America's book. We'll put some proxies down there. And so this is what you got going on. The three H's, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis are raising hell all up in that region. And the brother is going to show you a video as to why. But go ahead, brother.
Okay, so I just finished running through these 4 headlines just to show what's going on in the Red Sea. That's go just because we ain't over there, you know, right now. Look, that's going to affect things in different countries too, as far as these shipments go. So you see right here, it says from RT News, Shell suspends Red Sea shipments. And again, I'm gonna put these in the chat so y'all can look through them. Another one, major LNG, which is LNG, is liquefied natural gas. It says major LNG exporter suspends shipping through the Red Sea. So look, people need energy. I'm gonna read it right here, quick. When it says a leading global exporter of liquefied natural gas, Qatar Energy has stopped sending tankers via the Red Sea amid growing uncertainty about the safety of passage on the vital shipping route, Reuters reported on Monday. So look, people ain't gonna be able to get they natural gas. That's needed. That's something that's needed. So either they're gonna get it late or it's gonna be halted. Because look, ain't no telling when this skirmish in the Red Sea gonna die down. Because we know this gotta happen and it's gonna escalate because this is what the Bible say. So when would they begin to start sending stuff back through the Red Sea? We don't know. That's the point. Next one. It says Red Sea blockade undermining global commerce. So people gonna suffer. You got it.
Yep. No, you good.
Hey, advertiser pod, and it's a spirit too, because this not only happening in the Red Sea, but also it says, you know, the Suez Canal. But what we've been talking about, or not talking about, but mentioning here and there for the past couple of weeks, that Panama Canal. Remember, that's backed up too.
Right.
That Panama Canal backed up right now too. So even shipping containers from the Panama Canal, they got to reroute or cancel a route because they can't get through. And you're not just about to go all the way around Central and South America to come back up. It's not about to happen.
Well, that'll quadruple your price. You know, that's why you're going to see gas prices. I mean, you just said it. You're going to see prices go through the roof, probably around spring or summer of this year.
Yep.
But yeah, brother.
Hey, and that's the spirit because while we've been on the lesson, you know, Valuetainment, these dudes, 37 minutes ago, they put up this lesson. And the title is Prices Will Go Up. Oil prices to skyrocket because of Houthis. Let's see. Yep. And look, they put this up while we already been talking about it. So that's the spirit of things, though. That's the theme of, you know, the world right now, man. Wartime, suffering. So it says prices will go up. And this was put up 44 minutes ago. Oil prices to skyrocket because of Houthi attacks in the Red Sea. Hold on. And this is the last one, and we'll get into those videos. So already, even with natural gas and oil, some shipments being stopped from this past Arctic blast. Look at America. U.S., and this was put out today, a couple hours ago, U.S. oil industry struggling with freezing temperatures. And it's going into shit even down here in Port Arthur, how some oil production buildings or petroleum plants been shut down all the way from North Dakota to Texas, man. Shut down.
Mm.
So you don't think this is gonna have no effect on the everyday person? Eventually, it will, man. See, it's hard to keep up with every single little thing that's going on, but you better believe everything the Lord doing on the earth, it got a cause and effect to it, man.
Oh yeah. Come.
Mhm. But we can hop into them vids though. That this vid right here.
Come.
So and I just played from the beginning of other times of pod. I know the point you said around like 13 minutes with the least of the flock, but just let me know. I'm gonna just let it run. You know, if you got something, just let me know.
You can pick up where he first come in because he makes some good points, and then you can jump to that 13-minute mark.
Okay, Con, I got you.
He made a good point about how he makes a good point how the Houthis is giving America the fits. You know, how is that? You know, but I'm gonna let him break it down.
Con. I'm gonna finish throwing these things in the chat for y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and play the vid. So again, it's Scott Ritter. Salakia. This Scott Ritter, it says Iran create an axis of resistance. Hezbollah, Houthi kick U.S. Right? Israel out of the Middle East. Here we go.
Department
appear to be very concerned about and maybe even quietly panicking about, which is the Department, the State Department, appear to be very concerned about and maybe even quietly panicking about, which is the situation in the region as a whole. So you have the Red Sea, you have Yemen's armed forces led by the Houthis, essentially conducting regular captures, strikes. Norwegian vessels have been hit, French vessels. There have been many targets thus far, and some vessels have actually been captured. And then you also have a situation, I'll pull up the report, in Iraq. And the resistance, what's called the Islamic resistance in Syria and Iraq, have been quite active as well. So let me just pull this up. So here's a report from the Associated Press. Iraq scrambles to contain fighting between U.S. troops and Iran-backed groups. This is what they always say. They're Iran-backed groups fearing Gaza spillover. But essentially, it's the resistance in Iraq and Syria, which have committed dozens and dozens of attacks on U.S. installations, bases, etc. So this appears to be more and more of a concern for the United States side. What is your, I guess, assessment of this particular aspect of the conflict, the regional situation in particular, how Yemen, how these resistance forces, and
just FYI, this not Scott Ritter talking. This Scott Ritter right here. This a guy talking to him. He about to give his response.
In Iraq and in part Syria, and of course just broader regionally, how this has been playing out, and how does it affect the military situation in the conflict overall?
Well, let's start with Yemen and the Houthi. First of all, let's just make it clear that while Iran, I apologize if I've mispronounced that. I'm American, so it is what it is. I don't mean any insult by it. But the Iranians have been, they create something called the axis of resistance. And, it stretches from Lebanon, where Hezbollah is, through Syria, into Iraq with the pro-Iranian militias, Iran, and then down into Yemen with the Houthi. And Iran, provides, and I guess Hamas is thrown into that now too. you know, and Iran provides financial resources and in some cases direct military assistance. With Yemen, there's no doubt that Iran has been providing Yemen with the resources necessary to take on Saudi Arabia in a war by proxy, ballistic missiles, drone capabilities, etc. But the Houthi do what the Houthi want to do. It ain't like the Houthi say, you know, oh, big brother Iran's got to tell us what to do. The Houthi woke up and said, screw it, baby, we're going to war. We're fighting in defense of the Palestinians. And Iran's going, no, don't. We're trying to manage this escalation here. We don't want you. But the Houthi are the wild boys of the Middle East, and they're just like, yeehaw, go. And they start firing missiles, they firing stuff. And now they've done something that really hurts, is because this, I guess it's a Strait of Al Babel or Man, I can't pronounce it, but the little narrow thing on the, you know, where the Red Sea comes into the Gulf of Aden, there's a narrow little passageway where all the ships have to go through, and they're in the range of everything the Yemenis have. And the Yemenis have said, as long as Israel's doing what they're doing in Gaza, no shipping will be allowed to go through if it's heading to Israel. And they're sink. I don't think they think they've sunk stuff, but they've hit stuff, put it on fire. They've captured stuff. And so now what's happening is that, you know, ships are very expensive, and the owners don't like their ships to catch on fire or be captured. And so they're diverting all the way around Africa, coming in the other way to get to Israel. And that's very, very expensive. It's costing Israel tens of billions of dollars of denied, you know, economic activity. And so the Houthi are actually very sophisticated here. This is a very sophisticated weapon that they've dealt the Israelis. And the United States is going, damn it, now we got to respond here. But if we respond there, we got to take those forces and move them here. And remember, we've already said we don't have any money for this. All those aircraft carriers that we deployed to scare Hezbollah, it's basically eating up the Navy's operational budget, meaning money that was supposed to be set aside for training and other things is now being spent on these operations, which means there's no training taking place. There's other things that aren't happening. And now you want to expand naval operations into this area. Where's the money coming from? This is why the U.S. Navy is calling up the Australians and saying, hey, get some of your ships up here right now. We need you to take care of the security. And the Australians are going, no, we're not going to do that. This is a problem for the United States because we don't have the force structure to do everything at once. And so the Houthi have
so real quick, that just highlights what I just brought out. Okay. As you heard Scott Ritter bring out, Iran has set up the axis of resistance from Lebanon up in the north all the way down to Yemen in the south. All right. And the brother has some maps, but that's what you call preparing for war. And on the other hand, as I also just mentioned, America is unprepared. You got to call Australia for assistance, for help, the mighty big bad Babylon need Australia's help. You see, because they're stretched thin. This is exactly what happened to ancient Rome. And don't forget, all right, he brought this beast back. He brought back ancient Rome. And so with all of the similarities that modern America and this entire global system has to ancient Rome, it's also going to fall in the same fashion of ancient Rome. Having this military stretched thin and on the brink of bankruptcy. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Like I said, they are prepared. The U.S. is not prepared. Over here, they don't know what a woman is. You know, you got men going at women, women going at men, heterosexual against gay and bi against heterosexual. You got all of these schisms here. Nobody's united. Nobody's joined together. And so this place is ripe for the picking. America, that is. is right for the destruction and the judgment that the Most High has set for this place. Okay, and well, you see the map right there, and yeah, Lebanon is way, yeah, it's up a little bit further.
Yeah, Lebanon up here.
Yemen with the, go ahead, Doc, go ahead.
No, I ain't want to cut you off. You got it.
Yeah, that's Yemen right there, where the brother got the marker, his cursor, down at the south tip. Well, that's where that devil's gonna be. Well, I mean, that's, you see the Red Sea right there, and then you see well, the Mediterranean Sea, but that devil is gonna be right there in the Valley of Jehoshaphat.
Mhm.
Right around there. There's Iran, and yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be some shit.
Yeah,
But
Persian
go ahead,
Gulf.
brother.
And just so you know, brothers and sisters, and again, like it ain't, knowing breakdowns cool, cool and all, Hebrew, it's good for us to know Hebrew, Greek. But one thing that the apostles always push is it's good for us to know these maps too. Ancient maps, what was the geographical outlook, in Yahushua time, Persian, the Medes, whatever time you're looking for, but even so in our time as well, so we know what things are going down there. Now, this is a world map. I just want to get a world map to show what region that we talking about. Now, you look over here, there's, you got Africa. And now at the tip of Africa, you see, now this our land, right? Israel right here. And you got Syria, Iraq, and all this right here, this little boot-looking region in the middle, that's Saudi Arabia. On this side, you got a body of water. On this side, you got a body of water, right? And so this the Red Sea right here. This is where everything taking part. Now again, I got this map, the big one, to show where is that on the map. And you see it's right here. This is the top of Egypt. You got Israel, Lebanon, all that. This Saudi Arabia. This that region we talking about. Now this in the region right here. As you see, this Israel up here. The North East Africa. This Israel up here will be Lebanon. Up here will be Lebanon and all this area. On down to Yemen, as they was just saying. But look, this the Red Sea. This where those skirmishes popping off at. You got the Persian Gulf over here, but this where it's gonna go down at, man. In this region right here. Yeah, this where it's going down at. Again, as Bible prophecies say, the Lord gathering the nations right there. And look, they there. They there, man. They there.
And so, that's, you see out there, you got that map too. Yeah, you see that that axis of resistance, it goes right along the Red Sea.
Mm-hmm.
That's brilliant. So Iran got a front line. They got an offensive line or a defensive line right along the Red Sea.
Man. So yeah, so that's the region right there. So that's end time prophecy. Everybody gonna be gathered over there. But you still wanted some more of this Scott Ritter?
Oh, you can go to that 13 and a half, and I bring out Joel.
Okay,
that's all.
Okay. All right, here we go.
He makes a real beautiful point right here. So I'm gonna let you see. I'll catch on.
Okay, yeah, he has some fire points, but yeah, here you go.
Now we're being lulled into a false sense of complacency. Hamas can't continue as prime minister because it's consensus driven. He has to get a ruling coalition. He won't be able to. Somebody else will step in and take over. And that's what we want. But here's the danger of all this, Danny. Here's the problem. And we got to be honest about this, because right now we're being lulled into a false sense of complacency. Hamas is kicking ass. There's no doubt about it. Hamas will not be defeated. But who likes Hamas? Does Egypt like Hamas? Nope. Does Jordan like Hamas? No. Does Syria like Hamas? Not really. They were just at war with them a couple of years ago. They tolerate Hamas. Turkey, yeah, Turkey likes Hamas, but not that much. Not enough to go to war for them. And the further we get away, you realize that Hamas is very unpopular. And if we just erase the term Hamas and insert the term Palestinian, let's be honest, Nobody cares about the Palestinians. There's a whole bunch of demonstrations taking place right now, but these are cause-effect demonstrations, meaning that if it weren't for the slaughter of the Gazans, these demonstrations wouldn't be happening. These people aren't going to go into the streets and demonstrate on behalf of a two-state solution or a one-state solution or a free Palestine. They're demonstrating because the bombing's happening. So what happens when the bombs stop falling, when the genocide stops? Are these people going to continue to be out there putting the pressure on the United States? Is the United States going to continue to feel isolated, or is it going to go back to what it was, where people say, wait a minute, so they've stopped, we don't have to turn on TV and look at dead Palestinian babies anymore? Oh, thank God. So let's get back to what we were doing, which is chugging along with normal economic activity where the Palestinians are problematic. We don't want to do it. And so the danger here is that all the sacrifice that the Palestinians have made, and believe me, they are making the suffering they're doing through, and you see there's a growing recognition amongst them that they have to do this. This is their burden to pay to get statehood, that all of that will be for naught, because there will be a desire to, we don't want to embarrass Israel. We don't want to humiliate Israel. We're going to look for a compromise solution where we have a moderate Israeli government who will return to giving lip service to, reviving Oslo, but never really being serious about reviving Oslo. And gradually, Palestinians will be forgot again.
Yeah, that was it. Now the point was back when he was
I'm
saying
afraid that's the direction.
He was saying nobody likes Hamas. Nobody likes them. But now everybody's coming to Hamas aid. Why? As he said, because of the bombings. Well, who bombed them? Amalek. All right. You know them as the Israelis, but they are biblically known as the Amalekites of the nation of Edom. All right. And as the scripture, as the prophecy goes, here in Jeremiah chapter 50, and it says in verse 45, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, which is America. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. All right. So you're saying if it had been under any other circumstances, Hamas would have been on their own. But because these Amalekites did what they did, they drew everybody out. They drew out Houthi, drew out Iran, of course. They drew out Turkey, Syria. Everybody's pissed. But see, the Amalekites had to fulfill prophecy. All right. And now what we have is the fulfilling of Joel chapter 3 and 9, which says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. This is why they ready. You heard him talk about the Houthis. He said they the wild bunch out there. He said they ain't listening to nobody. So don't give a damn what Iran got to say. They in that wild cowboy spirit out there. They ready to go. They ready to go and say, man, this is what we've been preparing for, like us in this troop. We gung ho. This is what I prepared for the past 15, 16 years. So you have that, when you ready, you ready. You crunk. And when you're not, you got to call on people for help.
Right.
Come on, Australia. We need you. All right. And so it says, Joel 3 and 9. Yeah.
So like I was just gonna say, I forgot my point. It was about the Houthis. Damn, you got it. Lord willing, it come back. You had said something, but you got it.
Yeah, about damn it.
Oh, yeah, because Scott Ritter said they the wild ones of the bunch. Now, I don't know what specific people, those Houthis are, but remember it said in the scriptures, Ishmael, how he gonna be amongst his brother because he a wild man.
Yeah, it could be Ishmael. I'm not sure either.
But
I'm not sure, what particular nation they are, but it could very well be Ishmael. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see Elam having that kind of spirit, but that seemed like a Ishmael type of spirit. But they something else. But yeah, Joel 3:9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, all right? Hamas, Houthi, Hezbollah, and these what's it called? The B team, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And they causing hell. The B team is giving America the blues. You heard them speak about the financial quagmire that America is in. And it's brilliant. The Most High has got these people in the trick bag, all right?
The JV team.
Yeah, they JV, and then China, Russia, and Iran, that's the A team. That's varsity. They'll come break y'all off. So, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Another point on that financial quagmire, like now you have a lot of Israelis being displaced from their homes because of Hamas and them attacks. So these are people who, once were productive in society. Now they're displaced from their homes. They can't work. So now they got to draw off of the government. You see, which further worsens that financial crunch that Israel and the U.S. is in. Now you got a bunch of people that are out of work and can't produce. So it says, verse 10, beat your plowshares and the swords, all right? And your pruning hooks and the spears. Yeah, so that money you would put into agriculture, you got to put it in the defense budget. You got to buy weaponry and all that to prepare for war. But it says, let the weak say, I am strong. That's why the Houthis acting a goddamn fool in the Red Sea on the tip of Yemen. They acting a fool because they fulfilling prophecy. And it's damn near like they know they fulfilling prophecy. Because they cutting up. This was unheard of just, let's say, before 2020. This type of shit was unheard of. But especially going back 20-something years ago, America had dominance. And now, I believe it might have been Scott Ritter said, now it's to the point, America can't pick up a phone right now and say, all right, enough is enough. But they used to have that power just to squash shit with a phone call. They don't have that no more. As you heard, and they being fired on, they're firing on U.S. ships, which also could be part of a false flag, but I'm just stating the facts that they bombed the, what was that ship? A cargo ship, right? It wasn't a military.
Oh, yeah, I ain't sure the exact name.
Right, but it was hauling cargo. It wasn't military though, right? But anyway.
Yeah, I think it was cargo.
Yeah, so they not giving a damn no more. Because America is falling from heaven. Esau is falling from heaven. Oh, Lucifer. All right. So it says, again, let the weak say, I am strong. And They proclaiming that loud and clear. Verse 11 says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. All right. It said, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh-Shaphat, or in the English, Jehoshaphat. All right. The valley of the Lord's decision or his judgment. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. I'm gonna read down to 14. It says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe, because that's what they're going to the valley of Jehoshaphat for, to be reaped, all right, to have their souls reaped. To put it in short, judgment. They're going to that valley to get judged, to be put to death. If you don't know what soul reaping is, Most High gonna remove these military personnel spirits from their bodies out there in that valley of Jehoshaphat. There's gonna be a lot of people giving up the ghost. There's gonna be a lot of bloodshed in that valley. That's why I said, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe, right? The harvest of souls. Come get you up, Salaki, come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great, right? The wickedness of the heathens. And it says, multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. All right, and that's it on that, brother. So yeah, multitudes is going, every army on the face of this earth will be in that valley. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I know I had like 3 minutes of this video to play. This is all good though. It was pretty much hitting on what you just touched on with Scott Ritter, how America entertaining Israel's war gonna lead America to destruction. You see, Israel now trying to back up America. That's bringing everybody out, and that's why you see right here. The title of this video was, this is what Benjamin Netanyahu, not a Jew, said. He told America, he said, "This is your war to America." In other words, now that y'all in the Red Sea, y'all shoot missiles, y'all niggas can't pull out of this either. We in it together. So the point of the Taza Power was making, now that America got his hands dirty, you can't just back out now. You can't just back out. You got to go forward. And this very act and whatever else they do from here on out going to lead you to your downfall, man. You and Israel, man. You see? Yeah. And not just us realize that. As he said in this video, these nations know it and Americans know it too, man. Everybody see it. You know?
Yeah, play it.
I'll play a little bit. I'll play it. Let's see. I'll play a little bit of it. But we can end it off with this, you know? If you ain't got nothing else.
Because Israel wants us to.
Now, what they was going into before the video, not before the video, but before that part, they was going into how when America went into past wars, they'll give a propaganda push before it to get the American citizens on board, like Pearl Harbor. That's why they're showing these clips. Pearl Harbor, so on and so forth. So what they were saying is that when America wanted to go to war in times past, it always benefited America in the end. And the example he gave was, for example, after World War II, that's when the dollar was made the world reserve currency. So America benefited after that. But the point he's making is that, but this war, out of all the wars America been through, this one, if they get into this with Israel and get carried into it, this ain't gonna be the one you go benefit from. It's gonna backfire. And it's beautiful because that line up with prophecy.
Was the most important war in American history, economically and strategically, in terms of turning America into a superpower. Without World War II, the US dollar would not be the reserve currency of the world. Simple as that. Now the United States is going to war in Yemen, Gaza, and Iran because Israel wants us to. It doesn't help American interests in the least. Nothing, in fact, is accurate about that. Nothing is no part of this is in America's interest in the Middle East right now. In fact, the only country it helps is Israel. And even that, I would argue, is a stretch. Carrying out a genocide in Gaza will likely come back to bite them in the ass. As Colonel Douglas McGregor posted this morning on X, this is going to blow up in our faces, he writes. What has happened in Gaza is not going to go away. It has left a permanent mark on the people of the region. They were told that they too are animals and they deserve the worst, that they too deserve to be exterminated. They will not tolerate this. This is going to blow up in everybody's face.
You see, so even they know it, man. Esau know it himself.
And to go through that tweet thread, I mean, everyone's like, you're spot on. You're spot on. I live in that region. You're spot on. It's going to blow up in everyone's face. And that's exactly what's happening at this hour. Yeah, we're not paying attention. We are doing the exact opposite of that. Over the past few days, America has launched a series of attacks on Houthi rebels and Houthi rebel targets in Yemen.
Just days after the massive U.S.-led Red Sea assault involving American F-18 fighter jets and British Typhoons taking off from Cyprus, Houthi militants carried out drills in Yemen yesterday, less a serious military flex than a show of defiance.
Oh, okay. So it's not really a flex. It's just defiance. Is it in the United States' interest to go to war with Iran and Yemen? I just asked this of former UN weapons inspector Scott Ritter.
So the question is it in American interest to go to war with Iran and I forget who else he said, but in Yemen?
Here's what he had to say about it.
This is a problem bigger than America. We don't have the military capacity to prevail in this conflict. Yes, we can drop bombs in a lot of places. We will lose everything in the Middle East, everything in the region, because there's not a military facility in that region that is missile proof. And Iran has a lot of missiles, and they will bring death and destruction down on the Americans like they haven't seen since the Second World War. And then what? Now we're in a regional conflict. Can we throw cruise missiles at Tehran? Yeah, but to what end? Because Tehran will destroy everything we have in the region. And then where are we? We don't have the ability to invade Iran. We can't do it. You could mobilize the entire American military capability today. We can't invade Iran. We don't have the ability. So to what end are we getting in this war? At the end of the day, the costs that will accrue by the United States taking on the entire region on behalf of Israel will far outweigh the consequences of just telling Israel no.
But you see that? Think about that. Israel with America is really taking on the whole East right now, man. That's not going to play out good. And according to prophecy, it's written that way for America and Israel to be destroyed together, man. Come on, man.
And you got some more?
No, that's pretty much it. I'll put in the chat so that brothers out there can check it out. That's pretty much it though.
Okay, I'm gonna close out Joel 2 and 20. Unless you got something else.
Nah, you got it.
But I will remove far off from you. Let's see. Yeah, all right. Joel 2 and 20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, which is the Red Sea, to the east. To the east.
Persian.
Right. Persia. Euphrates, and that over there. Euphrates to the east, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea, which is the Red Sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he had done great things. Now, Apostle Tahar just went into this yesterday, and he played one of the brothers' video. They was going into how now America is beginning to call off certain of the reserves, how they had called off some a platoon or whatever from New Jersey, to go where? To Iraq. All right, we got Iraq on there. Is Iraq on the map? I think it's right here, right there to the north of you, to the top of your screen. They've been mobilized, and I'm believing this U.S. Army Reserve. But it's just, I just thought about this. If I'd have thought about it earlier, I would have got the receipts. But you could go check on it yourself. They just called out some reserves out of New Jersey to go to Iraq. So this is what the Lord meant by, but I will remove far off from you the northern army. Yeah, they're going to the Middle East so they can get their judgment. All right. And well,
There you go,
Apostle
Saquon.
broke it down. He said that EC was talking about Euphrates, and then of course you got the Red Sea at the hindermost part, or the hinder part toward the utmost sea would be the Red Sea. But anyway, that was the region where that brother had the map pulled up. That was that region where they all gonna meet to be completely annihilated. So that's the region. All right. So you see, okay, you got something else? Yeah, that's it. That's it. What did it say? Huh?
Yeah, I just wanted to back you up. It says this was put out on the 14th of January this year. It says New Jersey soldiers prepare for deployment to Syria and Iraq.
Syria and Iraq. So Syria too.
Yep. Which
So,
is
yeah,
uphill, Syria uphill.
Prophecies are popping. Okay. But yeah, brother, you had anything else to add on it?
Nah, just to show the map. So Syria right here and Iraq right here. So this is where they at. Now in the precept the other times I just read, Joel 2:20, it says
so yeah, it's all from the Persian Gulf to the Red Sea. All of that's, that's gonna be in flames.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead, go ahead.
Now I was about to say that Joel 2:20, so they can see it. The EC, how you say Euphrates, look, that's right here and running through Iraq.
Right, exactly.
And then the utmost sea is right here, the Red Sea. So it's gonna be all, they will read about this region from the Euphrates, all in this area over here to the Red Sea, man. And that's crazy. We watching this happen and play out in real life time.
It's going down.
How much you was shy, man. But you got us, Aquan. You can take us out.
We're going down. So in closing, I'll say this. All right. The truth is having its way right now. Okay. The truth is prevalent. And that spells out one thing, that Esau is done. He's going down because his power was in his lies, his deception. Now the truth is coming out, man. Everybody, was speaking about the Cat Williams thing. Cat Williams went viral. You're talking about he broke the internet and all that shit. Well, he went viral. Why? Because he spoke truth about certain segments of his life or the industry and where he chose. But that's how he blew up. See, back in before all of this, yeah, a lot of people, they come up by deception, by telling lies, just to call out some of the people that Cat called out, like Steve Harvey. His whole persona, his whole life is a facade. A lot of them cats are facades their whole life. But these are the people would listen to. But now this truth is having its way. We are in truth. All right, when you read about the book of Revelation, okay, that book is the revelation of Yahushua. Yahushua comes in the volume of the book.
All right.
So you see, all right, just real quick, the book Revelation, and what it say under that? Now in the English, you see Jesus Christ, but it's the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach. And what was it telling or spelling out? Certain events in the last days. So what was it saying? That in the last days, we will see a revealing of Yahushua HaMashiach. We will see him revealing himself. And he does it through truth, through us preaching this gospel and by the truth coming out. Okay? That's how the Lord is being revealed. Just as the book of Revelation states, and we follow these prophecies, we can see Yahushua coming into the picture through prophecy, because prophecy is what? Well, the spirit of prophecy the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the very spirit of prophecy. So that's truth. So now truth is having its way. And that lets us know that Esau is losing his power, but all those who reside in the truth, live by this truth, we're growing stronger. Esau is being weakened because he can't stand the light of truth. And those who live in truth are growing stronger and stronger. So, we are in truth right now. We are living in times of truth. Truth is here, in the form of prophecy being fulfilled. Truth is here. I mean, we had it. Me personally, I've had it the last 16 years, but the whole world, the world as it is now is nothing like it was back 15, 16 years ago. The world as it is now can't deny a lot of this truth. It was easy to call us crazy back in 2012, 2010, 08. It was easy to call us crazy. It ain't so easy no more. You seeing a lot of the things that we've been prophesying coming to pass because we are in the revelation of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. It's not just a book at the end of the Bible. This is real events playing out in real time. So that's all I wanted to say.
I got it real quick in the back you up, Brother Tazapa. I ain't easy to break down itself. It's just perfect to back you up real quick. Speaking on truth coming out, the second Ezra chapter 6, I'm gonna start at 27. It says, "For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth." You're speaking about truth. It says, "And the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared." You got it.
Beautiful, bro. That was the perfect. I didn't even think about that one. That was beautiful, man. So try to ride it out to 144.
Okay.
Hey, we can get up out of here though, bro. I ain't had nothing else. So
that's it. You can take us out.
With that, man, we pray that you brothers and sisters out there who listen and believe were edified. And so, hey, to the next one, again, we give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, the honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, out there doing the work of Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, the hopeful elect. All right. Peace and blessings to all y'all. To the next one, Shalom.
Shalom. Water for tuning in. Shalom.